The much-anticipated naming of the cabinet remains a closely guarded secret between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. Sources close to the two are in the dark and cannot say when the all-important announcement will be made within this week. A wait-and-see attitude is building up between NASA and Jubilee MPs, with the former saying they shall not vet Uhuru's nominees. Parliament will have to sit for the next 2 weeks to vet these nominees. And welcome back to News Center. Thank you very much for staying with us. And we want to get now into our discussion this morning. Joining in studio, I have Honorable Joe Mutambu, who's an immediate former Member of Parliament from Mwingi Central. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Betty.
We were expecting Honorable Mark Nyamete of Uriri, but he cancelled last minute, and so hopefully we'll have him another time. But since I have you, I'm still fine.
Sure.
All right, so I want us to start from the cabinet nominees naming. First of all, what is your expectation about this process, this new process?
Well, better, as much as we want to discuss this issue, it is purely within the president prerogative to make the decision. I'm sure he knows the country very well. He knows the Kenyans very well. He knows the people he's been working with. He knows the people who have been out there. And more to speak, he has a lot of advisors whom is willing to listen and to pick the best for the country. He knows that the country, the political temperature is too high. He knows that he needs people who can bring down the temperatures, the political temperature. And he is also very much aware of his manifesto. Don't forget that this is his last term. He needs to leave a legacy, and he needs people who can help him leave a good legacy. And not forgetting, and this is actually my best, not forgetting that he has an able deputy whom we would wish to see ascend to power come 2022. So all those things all those factors are inside the selection of this coming government.
All right.
And it doesn't matter whether CS or a PS or a parastatal head or anybody. Anybody will be picked by the president or by the presidency, so to speak, must play that role. One, to help Uhuru Kenyatta to live a good legacy. Two, to unite the country. Three, to develop our country. Four, to create good atmosphere for Kenyans to live in and develop our country. And then thirdly, to make sure, because politics always comes first when it comes to governance. I mean, politics are there. Uhuru Kenyatta is not a banker, he's a politician. So is Ruto. I mean, he was elected through a political process. So we also have to look at people who will be having Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy and development of the country, and also peace of the country at heart.
That's such a big CV for, just one person. But is there anything that, should take precedence or should be the highest priority? Because, like you mentioned, there are quite a number of factors. There's the issue to do with inclusivity, the cabinet having the face of Kenya. There's also this issue to do with competence, which should be maybe one of the topmost factors when it comes to selection. So, according to you, is there anything that he should be looking at that over and above everything else?
I think everything is intertwined.
Okay.
You cannot separate one, pick one and leave the other. You cannot take someone who can deliver in one area and fail to deliver at the other. All right? You need to have someone who can multitask, if you ask me. You need to have someone who can sit down or who can do his job. One, heal the nation. Two, perform, because at the end of the day, performance is the key. Three, meet the expectations of Kenyans, not himself, Kenyans, because at the end of the day, you'll be serving Kenyans. Three, someone who will be, because being a cabinet secretary or a minister for that matter, that's a position, when you head that docket, you have a lot of people who are behind you, right? And whatever you do, you don't do it for yourself, you do it for the country. And that's why I'm saying everything, you must have all those
the ingredients,
in you. If you do not have those, you may be so smart, eloquent in English, know how to speak good American English, but you have no knowledge of what Kenyans want. Then you are useless.
All right, and looking at the cabinet secretaries right now, is there anybody who you feel has been able to have all those factors that you've just mentioned?
I think I don't want to
no,
get,
but I'm sure there's just...
I don't want to get there.
Yeah.
It will be totally unfair for me because I'm a politician.
Yeah.
And you know how politicians speak. They'll always say this is good, that is bad. That. But we have seen those who have performed. And you see there are also those who are performing and they are not shouting. But you see, on the other hand, communication is also very key. You may be very good in whatever you're doing, but if you don't perform, then you are perceived as if you are doing zero.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, how do we evaluate you?
Okay.
You know, you are evaluated by so many factors, not only what you're doing. You can be doing something very good, but you also need to communicate it to other people so that they understand exactly what you're doing.
Right.
If you do a better job out there and then you are not communicating it to people, then you will be perceived that you are doing nothing. And that perception, because at the end of the day, everything is about perception.
Yes.
Even politics is about perception. The work you do is about perception. If you're not perceived as doing best for the people, then they will not like you. They will say, yes, you're a good person, but you're not talking about it.
All right.
I'll give an example of Jesus. He was doing very good things. He was not talking about it. He was crucified. Yes.
But is that the reason he was crucified? But anyway, now we're talking about the good things that he used to do.
Yes.
Later on.
Later on. But you see, at that moment, people need to see. I'll give an example of Matiang'i. Okay? He's hands-on. People are singing, and he's talking about it. Okay? There are others who are doing maybe a good job, but they are not talking about it. So that common mwananchi who expect this to be done, and you are not communicating, you don't expect the president or deputy or any other person to communicate on your behalf.
Yeah.
It is your responsibility. And if you fail in one, then, sorry.
Sorry. Wow. So we'll see who the nominees will be. But even just talking about the nominees, Parliament is supposed to go on recess, but, there are efforts that are being made to have them stay longer so that they can be able to vet the nominees. First of all, should the presidency dictate anything to do with Parliament or influence, the calendar of Parliament?
No, it's not influencing, Betty. Remember, serving the nation, it's a duty. And you don't say, today I'm not going to do it, tomorrow I'll not do it. I see KTN 24/7. They don't say today is on a Sunday, we are not going to, and there's nobody who is complaining that you are infringing my rights, right? So the same thing, if you are elected as a leader to serve Kenyans, it doesn't matter when, because you are also getting salary. So you cannot say that the calendar has been, the president is meddling with the calendar of Parliament. No, it is the duty of the members of Parliament to do that. And it is a procedure. It's a procedural motion. If maybe the calendar, the members were supposed to go on vacation this particular day, and there are matters. Because, Betty, you remember, we've been engaged in politics for almost 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And the Kenyans were fatigued. And you need to understand that we need to have a government in place so that Kenyans can be served. For those 7 months, Kenyans have missed a lot. And for us to catch up, the president needs to do, and also the parliament, and also other institutions, we need to catch up. We need to bridge the gap. Because all these months which we went, which were in campaign mood, nothing was being done.
Yeah.
So this is the time to do work. And we cannot say, because, lives do not have a pause mode. Life do not have a pause mode. We need to move on.
Yeah.
So it is in order for president and also for the leaders, members of parliament, to either to prolong the sittings so that they can make sure that they capture all the pending bills or the motions which are supposed to be captured within this particular time. Because you remember, any time lapsed, you'll never get it.
That's true.
Yes.
Moving on to the fact that NASA legislators have said that they will not be part of the vetting. What kind of impact do you think it will have?
To me, I think it has got no impact because Parliament is not for this party or that party. Parliament is for members of Parliament. Whenever you get to that house, it doesn't matter which party you belong. So if there's any motion, you either participate or don't participate, so long as there's a quorum, that's it.
But what about scrutiny and proper vetting of the nominees that Uhuru Kenyatta will give? Don't you think they would give some
through Parliament? Okay, we have they will form a committee of selection, a selection committee, which is headed by the Speaker. If you are selected to that committee, first you saw them fighting for those positions. So if you fight for that position and you don't want to go to sit in that committee, then that is your responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the House. It is you as a member. And the moment you've been nominated to a select committee or to any other committee or any other vetting committee and you don't take part, that does not mean that the process will not proceed. Process will go on because there are procedures in the House. If there is a quorum, and the quorum dictate maybe 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 members, and they are there. It doesn't matter which party they come from or which divide they come from.
But I mean,
so it's in order. So it's upon you. What members of parliament need to understand, from whichever side, for you to say, I'm not going to sit or I'm not going to vet. So what will happen that you will give a chance for incompetent person to be appointed to get a seat. And then you will start making noise. You know that minister who knows that PS, and you had an opportunity to go and vet that person, and you refused. And what I want to tell you, Betty, that we are now past the chapter of politics. The election was done. President was elected. He was sworn in. That is done and dusted. We are not going to go back there.
Right.
So it is their responsibility to go and vet those people who are coming in. If you say you don't want to vet, then that is your problem. It's your constitutional right. You can stay out.
Right.
But I want to guarantee you that people will be vetted and they will continue and they will serve the Kenyans.
But the question comes in really on the level and quality of vetting. These are nominees who will be selected by President Uhuru Kenyatta if, the vetting committee has, more members, say, from Jubilee. Of course, they cannot go against what the president has given as a name.
I have been in that parliament, and I've seen it before, okay? Members have rejected nominee from the president. This is not the first time. So I don't think...
With the help of the opposition.
No, even without. I can give you an example of Monica Juma. He was brought to parliament and he was rejected by all members, all right? Not because it was members from opposition who rejected Monica Juma. No, even those ones, and not only her. And there are so many questions which are raised. And unless you clear those questions to the members of parliament, then you are not cleared. So this is not the question that it is the president who appoints and then they will just rubber stamp. No, I am not defending them, but I have been in parliament and I've seen the way they operate. They are so transparent in what they do.
Right.
They are not coerced to do whatever they are doing.
All right.
So it's just a perception that, because it is the president that who appointed, they will accept. No, you saw NASA reject their own list. So that's a house business, and it has got nothing to do with the leaders. Yes.
Interesting. I want us to talk about something else that happened, and MPs have been able to coin another way to be able to boost their allowances, and that is through them being able to sit in 2 committees. You have been a member of parliament before. First of all, I mean, we're coming at a time when the wage bill, as per Cyrus Serem, is going to be hitting 650, billion shillings. Do you think this is in order?
Betty, if you remember very well, I've been a crusader for bloated wage bill in our country.
Yeah.
And you remember all the bills and my efforts to reduce wage bill in this country. I am not here to be an advocate of any member of parliament, but I don't think it is honestly right to cascade or to cast aspersions to members that they are trying to make money on themselves. Ordinarily,
that's what happened.
No. Ordinarily, I'll tell you, even before, members used to sit in 3 or 4 committees, and that's normal. And I want to tell you that in any committee, you require a quorum. Okay, and we require members to attend. And the more members you have, the better the debate and the healthier outcome of whatever you are discussing we will get. So if we say that if they do not sit in those committees and you expect them to do that, then they will negate the same spirit of the members playing the oversight role. So I don't think it's about getting more money from sitting. And how much are we talking about anyway? 5,000 shillings for a sitting? I don't
if you look at
I don't want to be unfair to the members of parliament. And I want to tell you the responsibilities of members of parliament is enormous. I want to tell you this. I know I've been there. I've been a member of parliament, and I'm not defending anyone, and I'm not being an advocate for anyone. I can tell you, those people who don't speak, who sit in those other committees, they pay them handsomely well. A committee will sit somewhere. These commissions, they will earn 100,000 per sitting. Members of parliament, they only have 5,000 shillings per sitting. I don't think that is much. And it is provided for in the budget, and it is also provided for in the budget of parliament, and also the standing orders. And there are meetings which you cannot surpass. You cannot go more than these meetings. So it is already provided for in the budget. Well, so it is not that they are trying to earn more money, Betty.
Really?
No,
because
no.
You've said
I can tell you without any fear of any contradiction and without favoring anyone, that budget is provided for, the times they are supposed to sit, and how many meetings they are supposed to hold per week, per month, per session. It is provided for. So actually, sometimes they don't even meet those meetings. Yeah.
They don't go.
No,
so that's
they
also
don't meet.
a problem.
They don't meet.
Yeah,
yes,
they don't meet.
They don't meet the threshold because they're supposed to meet, I think, 4 or 5, let's say 4 meetings a week. Sometimes they do or 3. They do only 3. So it's not the question of
it's
that.
Not too much.
It's
that's
something
which
is being amplified for nothing. And I'm not being an advocate for any member. No. I'm just being fair. You know me.
So if we have this, like you said, it's just 5,000, but 5,000 looking at the bigger picture, it translates to so much money. And here we are trying to have a conversation about reducing our wage
Betty,
bill.
let me tell you. The reducing of wage bill does not come by cutting somebody's salary. And I said this, and I told Sarem, I've been there. If you do the calculations well and you deduct the salary of somebody, that salary is too minimal. What we need to do is to reduce the institutions and to reduce the offices we have. That is what will make, because the moment you reduce my 2,000 shillings, that will not affect the entire budget, which I always spend a year. It will still be there. So you will reduce 100,000 to, even if you cut my salary to half. But I want to tell you, all other expenditure will still be there because I'll still have a car, I'll still fuel that car, I'll still have staff, I'll still have rent, I'll still have power to pay. And all those bills are still there. You'll have to pay them. So it does not make sense. And I did tell them, deducting the salary of workers do not affect will not change. Yes, it will change, but too minimum. But the moment we reduce the offices, and that's why I came up with reducing the counties and reducing the seats of parliament, reducing constitutional commissions, because the moment you reduce a commission, then the amount of money you are reducing is so enormous, and it will have an impact to the wage bill. But this one, I tell you, it's so insignificant.
It's insignificant.
Yes.
All right. I want us to move away from the politics and the cabinet nominees issue and talk a bit about the Sarah Serem team. They closed their office yesterday after 6 years. And of course, they said that there were quite a number of challenges, including members of parliament who made their work a bit harder than it should have been. But then they also mentioned that the challenges that they were having, with reducing the same wage bill we're talking about. According to you, having agitated for a reduction in the wage bill, how do you think they fared?
To me, I think they tried. Given the circumstances and the field they were playing, it was the first time, and it was the first commission, and they were having a new constitution with all these counties, with all the devolution, with a lot of constitutional offices and a lot of people to deal with, and the wage bill to balance. It was enormous. I would say they performed pretty well. What they did not understand is what I'm telling you today. They just touched the salary. And you see, the moment you touch the salary, then Betty, there you have problems. Because the moment, anybody who is getting employed anywhere, there are terms. And the moment you have been given terms, and then somebody else comes in and tells you, you know what, those terms you have been given, I'm going to cut them. Then you create a problem right there. It doesn't matter who, even if it's an angel. They will say, I was told it is this much. Now why are you coming with this? But if they could up their game and think outside the box of salary, they could have done this country a lot, because they only dwelled on salaries. And salaries.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the wage bill is not only about salary. It has a lot of other things inside that salary. Because if I'm getting a salary, I'm getting a allowance, I'm getting maybe a traveling allowance, I'm getting an office, I'm getting a car, I'm getting a maintenance car, I'm getting so many other things. If they did check on all those other small things, then they could have created
where would they have
impact.
cut down?
But to me, I think today, we still have a voluntary salary. Having a commission for how many? 3 years?
6 years.
6 years in place. What did they do? Actually, what they did, they created more enemies. And at the end of the day, yes, Sarah Sarem did create more enemies than the friends she could make. Yes, she was trying to do the best for the country. But that best she was trying to do, it was on another side. You see, you can do something good. But at the end of the day, it is not that sweet to the others. So that is where she missed.
But isn't that okay if you're trying to create?
It would be okay if it makes, if it makes an impact. All right? Today, if you fight so hard to reduce the salaries of people, and the moment you reduce that salaries, that common manaiji, okay, do not feel it, then does it have any impact? The same money you are trying to save to do a road, that road is not done. You did not achieve your goal. If we did achieve our goal, like bringing the wage bill down, and that money which is being saved, doing something else better for the benefit of Kenyans, then we could evaluate her with that. But what can we evaluate her with? We can evaluate her with how many insults she got from members of parliament or from the committee, I don't know which commission. We can evaluate her by how many enemies she made. We can evaluate her by how many times she was in media for wrong reasons or for brushing people. No, you cannot have this, you need to have this. So what I think Sarah Saram missed, she missed the point that, yes, she was taxed with a very enormous role to balance the wage bill. And she did try her level best. But was it appreciated by the people she was working for? That's the question. The answer is no, people did not appreciate it. But at the end of the day, yes, she did bring something down. But I think she needed to go outside the salary and do something better. So
what should the new team, do?
You see, at the end of the day, it has to be anchored within the law. They also have, there's also a limitation. What can they do? What does the law say? This is another big headache. Okay, what is their mandate? So the new team which will come in, they will basically just follow what Serem was doing, because they cannot go outside the law. And that's why actually I was agitating for the change of the constitution, the change of the law, so that we can have, we can reduce some offices. And if you do that, you'll be felt. Okay, you reduce these offices, or you come up with another mechanism. You know, Betty, I will tell you for free that this country, do we get the value of what we pay for? You will see somebody working for 2 hours and they get salary for the whole day. You will see somebody working for 5 hours and they get, if they could come up and change the law and say, you know what, everybody must have a register. If I was Sarasaram, I would say in every office, I'll put up a clock and I'll put up a system whereby you have to clocking and I will pay you by the hours you have worked. That will make change. And you see, it doesn't matter how much you're paying somebody. The production is there. You see? So it doesn't matter, but people are getting paid for not working. Somebody stays in the office, they read the newspaper for 3 hours. All right? There are some people who are waiting to be served. They are not going to be served. So there is no revenue coming in. You see an officer who is supposed to collect revenue. They are reading news. They have one of their friends in the office. They offer them some coffee. Some people need to be served. The money is not coming in, but those people will be paid. So those are the things they need to look into. If I were Sarasaram, I will look into those small details, which reduce our production in this country so that we have enough money. And once you have enough money, you can pay somebody whatever amount of money they want.
Interesting. All right, so we're about to wind up the conversation, but I know I won't see you until the other week. And this Tuesday, we're having something happening. According to NASA, they're saying that they're going to be swearing in Raila Odinga, who's the NASA leader. Your thoughts on this one?
No, that's a joke. You know, let me tell you, Betty. The issue of swearing in of the President of the Republic of Kenya, that happened. Uhuru Kenyatta was sworn in. It's bygone. There is no swearing in of any president. I will not be worried about Raila saying that I'll take an oath. Raila can take as many oaths as he wants. He can take an oath as a chairman of Gor Mahia. He can take an oath as a president of FKF. He can take an oath of, oath, they are taken every day. There are those doctors which take oath on daily basis. So it depends on what kind of oath Raila wants to take. The only oath which Raila cannot take is the oath of the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of Defense Forces of a republic called Kenya. Any other oath, Raila is free. He can take them as many as he wants. That's not a problem. We should not be worried about that. And I'm not worried when I hear Raila saying, I'll take an oath. You are taking an oath as a president of who? You can take an oath as a president of people's, what is he calling it?
The People's Assembly?
Yeah, People's Assembly. Those people who sit outside Equatoria, somewhere there, he can be a president of those people and have it. But let me tell you something, Betty. It is so serious to swear yourself in as a president of the Republic of Kenya. That means you have, you have committed a treason. You are liable to death. It is very serious. And Raila Amolo Odinga knows it. And he has a very good lawyers. They knows about it. He cannot do this. He's just trying to make himself busy. What my advice to Raila is, you want to take an oath of those people who sit outside the City Hall and be the president, their president, okay. Like Nicky Mwendo. You know Nicky Mwendo of FKF. He's a president of football in Kenya. We call him president. That's not an issue. The issue comes when you want to say, I am a president of the Republic of Kenya, of our bonders. Now, you will not be dealing with Boynet. You will be dealing with Mwadhave. Because Mwadhave knows his chief of command, chief in command of armed forces. So there will be another person. Mwadhave would want to know, okay, where is this other commander-in-chief? Who is this other one coming in? So you will not even be taken into Kibera or to see Muchelule in High Court. You will be taken to Field Marshal Court. It is very serious.
Don't you think, even as you employ your feelings that, he has massive support here in the country. Don't you think that this is going to throw the country into some sort of a political situation when you have this person who says that they are the people's president and they still have some massive backing?
Let me tell you, those people must be guided by one thing called constitution and the law. There is no two way about it. All right? What Raila is trying to do is trying to ask all those people who lost, including the governor who lost in Kisumu, where I saw him sitting in that assembly and Anyang' Nyong'o the other side. He's asking that governor who lost in Kisumu to go and swear him, to swear himself in. He's asking Jomo Tambu to go to Mwingi and swear himself in as a member of parliament of Mwingi Central. There's a member of parliament for Mwingi Central, for God's sake, who was elected by people, and he was sworn in, and that's it. So this is what people and Kenyans need to understand. It is bygone. What we are failing to do is to tell our people or to tell the people we lead the truth. We mislead them with information that I can swear myself in and become a president. President of what? Where will you get money to pay your workers? Where will you get money to pay your assembly people? Where will you get money to do all this kind of thing? You see, there's also a budget for it. And one thing which cannot happen, it is for the counties. Those counties who are purporting to be passing those motions of a people's assembly. They cannot fund them because the moment they do that, they will end up in jail. Anybody going to court, and for your information, they have been ruled illegal by a court sitting somewhere in Kitui. So with the wisdom of that judge, they felt, no, this is not right. So they cannot do it if they respect the law. And if Raila wants to lead this country, he also needs to be respected, and he needs also every person is leading to abide by the law. There is no way you can take it by yourself and say, you know what, this is a banana republic. No, we do not have a banana republic. We have a country with a constitution which we all treasure. And that's why I'm sitting here with you and discussing so peacefully, because you have people guiding us. Otherwise, we'll have armies and police coming in and taking over your properties. Today you go home and you find somebody sleeping in your house and telling you, you know what, this is, I'm also going to eat your food. No, you'll say, no, you can't do that. So we need to educate and to tell Kenyans that our leaders are misleading us. Are misleading us when they tell us they can swear themselves in and become the president or people's president. That it has to go with it has to be in line with our constitution. And the issue of the President of the Republic of Kenya, it is one Uhuru Kenyatta, and that business was done. I don't see, and I don't imagine, and I don't even visualize any stupid judge in this country holding a Bible and swearing in Raila. No. Any person who was admitted in the bar, okay, who went to school to learn about our laws.
All right.
I don't see anyone doing that.
Okay, we have to wind up there. Well, we'll see what is going to happen in the next coming days. I've been speaking to Honorable Joe Mutambo, the immediate former Member of Parliament for Mwingi Central. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Betty.
Yeah, all right, cool. So we will take a short break here on the show, but we're coming back to continue with our coverage. Remember that we have also our reporters on the ground. I will be speaking to some of them here in the next few minutes. Don't go away.